Sergio Perez will likely drive his last race with Red Bull in Formula 1 in Abu Dhabi, as reports state that the team has already decided to promote someone from the Racing Bulls team and make changes to that lineup as well. It seems like the reality has finally hit the head of the Red Bull leaders and they've chosen their destiny. But who is going to replace Perez? And more importantly, will they promote their junior from Formula 2 into Racing Bulls after the infamous interview from Hadjar himself? It's safe to say that Red Bull and Perez are very likely to end their relationship after Abu Dhabi, and this has been reported by reliable sources like ESPN and The Race. The situation has evolved to a point now of no return, and the stats speak for themselves. Perez has no wins this season and only 4 podium finishes in 23 races. All of them coming in the first 5 races, which were won by his teammate Verstappen. He has been a massive assistant to McLaren and Ferrari in the Constructors' Championship, and it will cost his team a lot of prize money that are likely to be covered by Perez sponsors. But it looks like Red Bull have understood that they are no longer racing for the principles of the sport and promoting raw talent rather than covering the financial holes that Perez has left in the team for quite some time. Not only did he cost his team around $20 million in the Constructors' Championship, the wrecks that he caused on the car this season has emptied the piggy bank for around $5 million. And that is something that prevented the team from upgrading the car with faster pace. This will definitely hurt the team in 2025 because we saw how close the competition is, and now that Hamilton will be on a revenge mission with Ferrari, it's safe to assume that Red Bull would want to put a stronger second driver next to Verstappen moving forward. When talking about this, Horner was adamant that Perez needs to come to his own conclusions when it comes to his career in Red Bull, as the Brit believes that his driver is aware that the performance just hasn't been there, and drivers in the senior team have been sacked for much better performance next to the Dutchman. Furthermore, Horner said, "I'm going to let Checo come to his own conclusions. Nobody is forcing him one way or another. It's not a nice situation for him to obviously be in. Checo has had a very tough year. Obviously, the points table are what they are. We're very much focused on really supporting him to the checkered flag in Abu Dhabi, and then it's not an enjoyable situation for Checo being in this position with speculation every week. He is old enough and wise enough to know what the situation is, and yeah, let's see where we are after Abu Dhabi." The situation for Red Bull couldn't be more crystal clear. The teams that are ahead of them have 2 drivers scoring high points in a constant fashion, and if we're to take the second half of the season into consideration, you could even add Mercedes into the mix as a team that can steal some wins or valuable points from Red Bull. With the arrival of Antonelli, who is dubbed to be the next Verstappen in terms of talent and speed, the second seat in Red Bull needs to be filled with a talented driver who will be scoring points next to Verstappen. Nobody actually expects Tsunoda or Lawson, the 2 obvious candidates, to outperform the 4-time world champion, but to score high points and keep the team in competition for P1 is obviously not that much if one of the drivers is fighting for the championship himself. This has been further revealed by Hadjar himself, who spoke in the press conference that while it's not confirmed yet, he will be in Formula 1 next year. And elaborating on it, he went on to say,
2 guys beside you have their F1 future confirmed. Do you feel that you are deserving that spot as well, and do you feel ready for it?
I mean, he is a reserve driver already, so he's not got less than me.
I mean, there's obviously confirmed and yet to be confirmed, right? So obviously I can't tell. Literally can't tell you what I'm doing next season because it's not been official, but
you know already?
Should I? If I say I know, then maybe you guys know what's going on. So.
Oh, so he doesn't have pressure anymore. Clear. No one of us have the pressure of the last round anymore. Good.
No, nothing more to add. That's it.
I don't like these questions because I just got to wait, man. You know.
Okay, thank you very much.
And it's quite obvious that Red Bull will need a strong second driver, not just because of the point situation in the Constructors' Championship, but also because of the fact that even Verstappen's future is all but certain with the Austrian team. Even though they won the Drivers' Championship, the shift in power has been quite visible, and Red Bull are no longer the powerhouse of Formula One, which is why Verstappen might seek for a better environment in his career, something that has been further bolstered by his manager. But as of now, the focus is to keep the team high in the Constructors' Championship, and for Red Bull's standards, P3 is all but high. Elaborating on this situation, Helmut Marko emphasised how important it is for Red Bull to have two drivers who will be scoring points in a constant manner. As he added, "We have to have two drivers who finish in the points. Max is more than 200 points ahead of Sergio in the driver standings. For our employees, it is a disappointment because they will not receive their bonuses as they depend on our position in the Constructors' Championship. There is a meeting Monday after Abu Dhabi. All the major people are there, all of the shareholders, and the decision will be done. We always, or most of the time, brought our own drivers through the Red Bull program, and I think it's a philosophical decision. Do we stick to that? And what I got from the shareholders is it will be in this direction." This is all but good news for Perez, who was adamant that he will go right through into the end of his contract, and he will be the man who decides whether or not he will continue with Red Bull or not. However, the last time that the shareholders had a word about the situation in these two teams, we've seen their wishes being fulfilled, and Ricciardo was replaced with Lawson. It's really not a good situation for the Mexican driver to be in at all, and this is why we need to see what the options are regarding the replacements for Perez. The list involved Colapinto as well, but Horner has apparently cooled off on the idea to bring the hotshot of a driver, primarily because of his recent crashes with Williams, showing that he still has a lot to learn, and to be put next to Verstappen is a luxury they just can't afford. Yes, he would have annulated the damage that the Latin American market would cause because of Perez's departure, but nevertheless it looks like either Tsunoda or Lawson will get the seat, and the one who stays will race with Isaac Hadjar, the Formula 2 driver and the Red Bull Junior as of now. Horner has elaborated on the choices that his team currently has, and when talking about it, he went on to say, "You are always keeping an eye on what the market is, but we have strength and depth in the junior program. It was good to see Isaac doing a good job in Formula 2 as well. I think there's, half a point between the drivers going into the final race in Abu Dhabi. Liam and Yuki were very closely matched in Qatar in terms of pace, so we've got a full stable of drivers." Many F1 fans are reeling that the situation is quite unfair when it comes to Tsunoda and his chances in Red Bull, but the first test he will have in Abu Dhabi will show whether or not he is worthy of having a seat next to Verstappen. Tsunoda himself said that he is ready to be a teammate of Verstappen, who he described as a monster in the car, and nevertheless he also stated that he can score as many points as are available and definitely fight for a higher position in the Constructors' Championship than what he is doing right now. On the other hand, he is not part of Red Bull's academy, and that is always going to hurt his chances because Honda is leaving the team and will now supply Aston Martin with engines from 2026 onwards. To top that off, the situation regarding the drivers' lineup is also very unstable in Aston Martin, and this gives Tsunoda an opportunity to not wait for Red Bull's promotion anymore. So whether or not he has what it takes to be a Red Bull driver, the meeting and the tyre test will tell. What is certain is that the Japanese driver is focused on controlling the things he can control in order to be promoted to this role. And when talking about it, he said, "I mean, not just the past weekends, but throughout the years, I think I am showing quite good, and it's up to them, and I've just got to do whatever I can do. There are not many reasons to point out why they don't want to put me in Red Bull. So in the next race, I've just got to keep doing what I am doing and try to show my performance consistently. I don't know if I am a real contender to Perez. Can you interview them and find out? Even what Red Bull say in the interview, I don't know if that is the truth or not, to be honest." With all this in mind, do you think that Perez will definitely be replaced from 2025 onwards? And if so, who do you think will inherit his seat? Let us know in the comments below. And if you are interested in the latest penalty disaster between the FIA and the F1 drivers, make sure to check out the video that's appearing on your screen right now.